Okay. Well, hi out there. My name is Guitar Gabby. I am the founder and frontwoman of an all-Black international female rock collective called the TxLips Band. And I've been playing guitar for about 15 years now. And I started the collective in 2016 because I saw so many guys doing everything, and there are not really any spaces where women, especially women of color, can exist inside of this music industry, and we're not pushed to the forefront the way I feel like we should be. So that's why I started the collective, and we're here to rock and just show that women of color do a lot of different things, and inside of the music industry, we really should be on the forefront a lot more. And so that's what our mission and our goal is.
How many women are in the Tulips band?
15 right now, all around the world.
That's really cool. Even in France or not yet?
Not yet in France. I do know someone. I saw her on Instagram. I think like a couple of days ago. Somebody introduced me. I don't remember her name, but hopefully we'll expand to France and hopefully get over there by the time this pandemic wraps up.
Ah, oh my God, don't tell me about this
I know.
pandemic situation.
It's horrible
Oh
over
my
here.
God. How do you live, guys, this situation in the US?
Some people are not really. Some people don't care, and some people are just out doing whatever they want, which is making it worse for everybody else. And some people are sensible and are staying indoors. Myself and most of the females in my collective were staying, indoors. And if we do go out, like we did recently, go to New Mexico to work on a movie project, and we had to get on the airplane. But within things like that, we have very, very strict parameters that we have to exist in. You basically have to live in a bubble. You can't do certain things if you're going to be doing certain types of projects. But outside of mandatory things like that, I stay in the house.
Oh, how much do you miss concerts?
I miss live music so much. Like we not being able to play all of last year and probably most, if not all of this year, it's driving people crazy. And I think that's why a lot of people are still going outside and going to venues and clubs because they just don't care because they want to be at live shows, which I get, but it's like live shows, people dying. Like we gotta find out a little bit more.
I understand. This could you tell me a little more about this acoustic set? How did you work on it and arrange the songs?
So that actually started off as so we have a big festival in Atlanta. I think in Atlanta it's probably the biggest festival that we have every year called Music Midtown. But because the festival couldn't happen, they reached out to their media partner, who's a friend of mine, and said, hey, we want to do a virtual set. Can you get some different artists? So they asked us to participate in that. And we basically just had a big, very, very large room so we could be spaced out a little bit. And then we all had to go through testing and covers and COVID waivers and all of that, and then filmed it on the green screen, and then we just flipped out the background depending on what set or what we were using the set for. So for Music Midtown, they had a whole thing that they did, and I accompanied it with a interview that we did, the second part. So that's basically how we did it. Though we filmed it on the green screen, and I made it acoustic because I didn't want to have too many people. Involved because the more equipment you bring in, if you have to bring in amps and drum sets, then you have to mic everything, and you have the speakers, which means more people, and that's too much. So I just broke everything down to an acoustic version, acoustic electric version, so we could have just a little bit of a different texture of the music to give to the fans. So.
But it was really nice and it was cool to watch. I was did you thought of, excuse my English, sometimes I try
Yeah.
to, did you think about having a DVD, working on a DVD and then share your music on video, for everybody?
We actually, that's something that I've been working on over the years. We're working on a TxLips documentary. Um,
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be done within the next 2 years. I don't know. We'll see because it's a lot of content. But over the years, every show that we've had, every moment on touring, being inside of the tour bus and, playing with the Indigo Girls, setting up things, all this kind of stuff. We've been collecting footage over the years. So we're working on editing all of that, plus some of these performances that we had to do during the pandemic into like a DVD documentary style. So I'm working on that.
That's cool. That's I'm sorry. I'm really really happy to hear that, because I was thinking this girl should work on something like a documentary or a DVD or something, because you have a lot of things, and I think that could interest a lot of women also, and to see how girls can kick it. Can I say that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah. So how was Gabby, the young Gabby?
I was very active. I love playing sports. I spent a lot of my childhood playing soccer. When I was a lot younger, though, my parents put me in. I used to play basketball at the rec center when we used to go to summer camp and stuff. And then baseball and what else did I play? Those are like my main sports, but soccer is really what stuck with me the longest. And then simultaneously, my mom put me into piano lessons, which I kind of liked, but not really. And then I started playing the clarinet and the oboe. So I was kind of floating around to different sports and different things within music, different things that would allow me to express the energy that I had and also the artistic, creative side that I hadn't yet learned how to harness or how to use, but I knew that it was there. So my parents did a lot of work growing up with me, my sisters, nurturing the things that we were interested in, and I spent a lot of time growing up learning about different aspects of the industry and how to protect my music. And so the younger Gabby was just writing lots of music. I have a whole song binder, it's about that big, and it just has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs that I wrote when I was just trying to figure out like what genres am I drawn to, what am I hearing in my head. So I spent a lot of time just exploring and figuring out what I liked and didn't like. Yeah, when I played the clarinet and the oboe, I was in marching band at school and in the orchestra, so that was fun. But I had my first band that I put together, like first rock band where I was actually playing guitar and singing when I was like, I think 16 or 17. And it was called Bye Bye Love. And I had that band until I want to say my second year of college. So that was like 2011 or 2012, something like that. I was trying to calculate my head backwards. But yeah, so I had a couple of bands, and I think that's really where I started to learn, how to be a band leader and how to lead other people into what it is that you're asking them to play or how you're asking them to play. That's really where I learned a lot of that, because I had been in other bands with other people, and just watching different styles, being in other bands with other band leaders, it was challenging in some ways, a lot of ways, because I was usually the only girl. And so naturally,
In 2021, being a woman and in the music industry, how do you feel?
when I first started the TxLips, playing rock and being in that genre at music venues, at festivals, in interviews, all of those things, it always felt like, and still does sometimes feel like, we're the oddball out because it's considered a white, male dominated industry. Is considered like a white genre. So if you're not what that the industry says rock artists or rock stars look like, then people look at you like, do you belong here? Little did they know that genre was birthed out of African American culture. So I didn't learn a lot of that though until I went to college. I went to an HBCU, Spelman College, and that's where I started to learn more about my history and how to be confident in being a woman and being a Black woman at that in the world, and how to use that to my advantage and use that in the most confident way possible to inspire other women out there, and just consistently, we feed each other. We feed off each other's energy, and especially in the music industry and especially in rock and roll, there's not a lot of us in that space. So when we see another Black girl that plays guitar, we're like, yes. Or if we see, an all Black band, it's like, you rock. Yeah, exactly. So I think I think things are definitely changing because of bands like the TxLips and because of bands like Big Joni. friends of ours in London and the Nova Twins and a lot of other really big bands all around the world. I think that the industry is definitely changing, but I feel like it's changing because women of color are standing up and
Yes.
saying, we're taking our place. We're not asking for it. We've been very patient. At this point, we're just going to kick the door down since you don't want to open it. So
Your work was very, very important on the social media because then, yeah, I 100% agree with you because your work did work in
yeah,
other, it did work. It did speak to us.
I didn't know, and I'm very excited to be able to contribute in any type of way. I think that's and I was talking to a friend of mine. Her name is Lady Texter on Instagram, and she plays guitar. And she has this thing. Her thing is she has a lot of different pedals and different setups, and she's always posting videos. Like within the last, I've known her for a couple of years, and I always see her posting different videos showing you about different pedals that she has and talking about her gear, which is very rare because a lot of times you don't see women talking about their gear because that's like a guy thing, I guess, which is stupid. But the reason why I bring that up is because I hadn't seen her posting over the last like 7 or 8 months. And a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago, rather, I was like, hey, I reached out to her. Hey, just want to check on you. Are you doing good? I'm doing a project. I want to involve you in it, but are you doing okay? And we just started talking, and she was just expressing to me how the last couple of months she feels drained and she feels like she doesn't have anything to offer to the world in terms of her music or in terms of, how she takes what she does and helps to inspire and empower other women. And what I was explaining to her is we all have those ruts. We all have those moments where we sink into that and sometimes feel like, am I even doing this for anything? Does anybody even see this? And I have those days all the time. But I was telling her, one thing that my mom always reminds me is that somebody out there, even if you never know it, there's somebody out there that does need to hear what you have to say. Whatever you have to say is needed in this world. And I think that right there is empowerment and inspiration in and of itself, because as humans, all of us fall down. You're going to fall down if you haven't yet. It's just human nature. But it's about how you get back up and how you move forward. And the fact that you were able to get back up and come back with such a vengeance is like extremely important and inspirational in and of itself. So I say all that to say that I'm excited to be able to do that for somebody else out there. And I hope that everything that you're doing is extremely important, and everything that we're doing together is very much needed. And these young girls are out here watching women doing this stuff and pushing through boundaries and walls that are built to, stop us. But
Just your best of 2020.
my sister recently actually put me onto this all black folk group called the Carolina Chocolate Drops. And I really like that. And I'm a creature of habit. So I usually like what I like. And it's not that I don't want to go outside of my bubble to listen to other things, but somebody else has to give it to me sometimes. And so my sister put me onto this group, Carolina Chocolate Drops, and we were driving up to DC. And I've been listening to their stuff, and it's very inspirational because it's given me an opportunity to look at other ways that I can maybe spin my music or do a new creation of some of my music based on other genres. And I'm hearing other people mix different sounds and just create all these different things. So that's definitely a group that I would say is in the best of. And anything Beyonce does is A1 for me.
What's happened at the Capitol in the US hits us really because it's not fair.
Yeah. I am honestly, I'm having a very difficult time wrapping my head around it because, to your point, if it was, and when it was Black Lives Matter, the response was not the same. The National Guard was any and everywhere Black Lives Matter might have been going or actually was at. And the National Guard was sent many, many hours before Black Lives Matter protesting even started. And what gets me is like, Black Lives Matter is peacefully protesting at that for a very simple cause that we should not, in my opinion, people of color should not even have to ask to be treated like human beings inside of a nation that was built literally on our backs and after you stole it from indigenous peoples. It's just so baffling to me how we have to in 2021 ask to be treated like humans. And then we see white supremacists completely like entering into the Capitol. It is just, it's beyond me how that even happened and how easy it was for them to break into the Capitol. I wouldn't even say break into, because I don't even feel like they were let in. And there are so many videos that I saw maybe the day after this happened where there were actually police like opening up the gates and letting them in. Like, it's crazy to me because the response is not the same when people.
No, we can see that,
Yeah.
and I saw the reaction of uh, Jason Butler from Fever
Yeah.
333. Yeah, and it was, he said, he was he said, okay, so this is a good opportunity for everybody to see how supremacists react, you know.
Yeah.
So this is important for the world to see, to watch, and we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And everybody here is seeing the difference between the treatments are different.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it feels like we've been historically, people of color, generally speaking, in my opinion, people of color have been told to act right or to not do this or to say this. Well, if you all would do this, then maybe we would, listen to your protesting. Or if you would not do this or don't. It's just like and the thing is we've always, obliged to whatever society says. Well, if you don't do this, you don't do that. We're like, okay, cool. Whatever we can do to have a peaceful conversation, let's do that. So if we need to peacefully protest, we can do that. But then we do that and we still get the exact same outcome. So at this point, it's like, why do we have to keep asking to be treated like humans? And I feel like we need to have conversations with white people about this kind of stuff. I'm tired. Yeah.
It's true. When I mean, Trump, when he first were elected, hey, you supposed to be. I mean, after Obama, we're supposed to have, I
Right.
don't know, a woman, you know.
Yes. If the woman was running the country, we wouldn't have half of the shit. Oh my gosh. Like, why won't they? I just, oh.
Yeah, that, you know, in my opinion, we need to educate
Yeah.
educate the kids, the youngest, and tell them, even if it's hard, I think that we still educate them and talk to them every single day.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes, they're watching how we respond to things like this.
Yes.
And the other thing, in my family, we talk about this kind of stuff often, but I come from a family of educators. And on one side, my mom's family is a family of educators. And on my dad's side, a lot of my dad's brothers and my dad were in law enforcement and different, like between the military and like policing and all this kind of stuff. So growing up, we have had conversations about this. And for me, it's, I think education is a natural foundation for me. And so everything that I do or everything that the TxLips band does is built on education. And I think that is one thing that's missing as a whole, but especially when it comes to the music industry, because a lot of young kids in general are not taught about the business side of it. Young girls especially are not taught about, things to look out for, contracts to not sign, people that are sketchy. What is a red flag? Don't be afraid to say I don't want to participate if you don't feel comfortable. Like, we don't teach kids this, and especially young girls, and that's why it's important for us to educate. And yes, the music part is definitely part of it. And I'm if I could play music every day all day, I would. But I also would spend all of my time forever teaching young girls and young kids about their history, where they came from, why it's important, and about the business of any industry you're trying to get into. Because to your point, younger generations are watching us, and how we respond to this is how they're going to grow up learning how to respond. And the same thing for me, like I watch my parents respond to certain things, my dad and my mom in their industries and in professions, dealing with racist white people at their job, and sexism, when my mom was pregnant, them giving her a hard time taking time off work. She just had a freaking baby. Like, so just watching
It's
how my
crazy.
responded to that was very important, because I think it helped mold how me and my sisters interact with certain things that we might run into in life down the road. So education is just, we could talk
Yes.
about
I
education.
think that it's all about education now. It's we don't have any other response to this.
Yeah.
Because are you working on something new?
Yes. We're working on a couple of new things.
Yeah.
I can talk a little bit about two of them. One of them I can't go into too much detail about because we're under an NDA
Yeah,
until
yeah.
the thing comes out. But what I can say is what's already been made public, which is we got a chance to participate in a Netflix original movie called The Harder They Fall. And that's going to be coming out at some point this year. And I'm just going to say watch it. When it comes out, watch it so you can see our
Okay.
involvement in it. But that was a really exciting project to be a part of because there were so many amazing Black actors and actresses. It was an all-Black cast. And that is very rare to see. So just the fact that we were able to participate with so many amazing actors and actresses that I grew up watching, and now to be on the same set as them in the same room, like it freaked me out. Regina King was one of the people who is in the movie, and Idris Elba, and it was produced and written and directed by the Bullets and Jay-Z. So this is, I'm really excited about that. Another project that I am working on is I've been going back to earlier when I was saying my sister introducing me to a different style of music that I didn't necessarily listen to by choice. I've been stepping out of my comfort zone and figuring out some other sounds that I can bring to my music. So I'm working on a little like a rap rock.
That's cool.
Yes, I'm working
Yeah.
on that, and hopefully though we'll be able to have that out within the next few months. So that's another thing that we're working on, and I think people are going to like it because I've never like officially released anything outside of like the subgenres of rock and roll that I write, but I write almost every genre, and so I want to bring that to light a little bit more.
That's cool to hear. That's cool. I can't wait really for those two things. So thank you so much, Gabby, to that you gave me more than 10 minutes. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I was so excited. I was really happy to see you in even if it's Skype, but it's still something, you know.
Yeah.
So very happy, and I appreciate. Last word maybe for the French audience.
Um, I would say to anybody that's out there pursuing anything, it doesn't have to just be music. If you're pursuing, starting your own company or you want to be a chef, whatever it is, continue and keep going. And I know those are cliche words to say because everybody says that and it's all over billboards and TV and commercials. But there really is a truth to that. And I think from the inside, when you take time to figure out what exactly keep going for you looks like, then it just empowers you it literally puts you in an overdrive and in a certain realm of discipline that you're definitely going to need to pursue anything in any industry. So I would say take time to learn yourself, what you do and don't like, be honest with yourself and figure out what your niche is and figure out what keep going for you looks like because it's not the same for everybody. So yeah, keep going. And yeah, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. It's fun.